Okay, so make sure you tune in for that. Of course, we're back right now with author and motivational speaker Schwartz, and we've been talking a lot about politics, of course, about the potential run for Hillary Clinton. But right now, our current president, man, the latest Gallup poll, voter opposition to Obama at a 16-year high, more so than Bush and Clinton when they went through the impeachment with Clinton, and of course Bush with the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan.
And you know, it really shows that a lot of people are guessed to vote this fall, not really for the candidate, but to vote against President Obama.
Just to send a message.
Absolutely.
That's that's kind of a weird poll, because this was created, like in '98, and it was basically asking people, it's kind of like an odd question. Basically, are you pissed off enough to vote the other party just because you don't like your candidate or you don't like the current president? It's kind of an interesting tie.
Well, yeah, to vote for someone because you're voting against someone. And what about your morals or values or ethics? I think on both sides of the board, you know, wherever you align. I'm independent. I voted for Democrats and Republicans because I look at the candidate and their platform, their policies. Who lines up the most to me? I'm not just going to sacrifice all of, you know, my beliefs because I want to vote against somebody.
Since the motivation sometimes to vote against someone, as Ryan was saying, is greater than the motivation to go to the poll and actually leave your home to go vote for someone, are the Republicans going to, you think, win the Senate?
Gee, I think it's going to be very close, and they have a very good chance of that. Past histories of a lot of midterms, even if you feel like Congress isn't doing a good job, you vote for your woman or gal in office because you feel like they're your local representatives. It's not them, it's all of them, and you really have this kinship with your local. And yet, a lot of people this time around are saying, you know what, I don't like any of them, including our guy. And so look, Senator Dick Durbin's in a tight race with Oberweis.
Yes.
And Oberweis was giving away ice cream this last week in the Chicago area.
And I gave him plenty of money because I bought about 10 gallons ice cream. I helped pay for that ice cream. Not for me, not for me, for my family who likes ice cream.
Right, there you go. It was for a friend.
You would not see so many folks like Secretary Clinton or President Clinton or the First Lady out raising money and raising attention if this was going to be easy for the Democrats. I think they have a very tough fall. They got to work hard for it, just like the Republicans. There's no easy vote.
All right. Well, hey, we want to ask you about this big initiative that you're a part of called Clean the World. And you know, when you go into a hotel room, you use the soap, you check out the next day, everything is just left. You've used this much shampoo, all that stuff. I actually didn't think much about it, but there's good use for that.
You know, and I want to thank you so much for having me on to talk about this, because I sit on the board of Clean the World, and it was started 4 years ago by a guy who was in his hotel room, traveled 4 nights a week for a technology company, and he looked at this bar of soap he used once, and he thought, what happens to this? So then he called down to the desk and said, what happens to the soap? They said, well, you know, we throw it in the trash. It's been used, even if it's been used once. And then he said, okay. But not only did he wonder and ask, but then he looked at the impact of soap, and 1 in 9 children will die of diseases preventable through soap and hand washing. 2.1 million children a year are killed by diarrhea and pneumonia. You know, and they're the top 2 killers of children around the world, and yet many children don't have access to soap. In our own country, we have a record number of Americans on assistance, and food stamps do not cover soap. So there is a need. So what they do is, for a very nominal fee, these hotels that are partners send their soap. At the end of the day, the housekeepers who are cleaning the room and they're not just cleaning a room anymore. They're saving a life. And many of the housekeepers that are from areas in the world, they're sending it back to their homes, in essence. So instead of tossing it away, they throw it in recycled bins. When the bins are full, they get picked up by UPS. They're shipped carbon neutral down to Orlando or Las Vegas to a recycling operations center. All of the soap is thrown into a giant tank, and it gets sanitized, and it gets jiggled all about, and all the nasty hair floats to the top.
Do they not scrape it off?
Because now we have this new technology, and it's the sonic boom that cleanses it. So all that gets wiped away, and then that soap is that mix is completely
made new again.
Made new again.
Regenerated.
It's ground up. It's reformed, and then it reforms. G's holding one of these great 4-ounce bars of Clean the World soap, and it smells good.
You make recycling soap sound really sexy. I have to tell you. I mean, that's impressive.
Except for that hair part.
What can we do, though?
Well, let me tell you, they've created 60 new jobs down in Orlando and Las Vegas and around the country, whereas people are being part of this recycling process. This kit you have in front of you is called the One Project. Unilever, Hammond, Indiana, 100 employees put together 5,000 kits this week. And what it is, you get everything from Clean the World. It's a very nominal cost. And then you do a team building project, whether it's an organization or a company, and you put these kits together. Then the last thing you do is you add a note of encouragement on the back, because people are getting this. Women that have gone to battered women's shelters, the last thing they're doing is when they leave their home, taking a bar of soap. And they get there and they can wash. Food pantries, homeless shelters. And what you make in your community stays in your community. Hope House Chicago, Streetwise are all great beneficiaries. So you make these and then you donate them locally.
And our peninsula, our local peninsula is involved.
Hey,
so kudos to them and kudos to you, Laura. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Laura. Thanks for stopping by. Good seeing you again. All right, come back and see us soon.
She's going to come back later for After Dark.
Yeah,
that's right.
Pillow Talk.
Pillow Talk. All right, good. All right. Well,